She's posting pictures with someone new, smiling, laughing, acting like she's never even known you. And yet something deep down tells you it's not real. You can feel it in your gut because you know the kind of connection you had doesn't just disappear overnight. If this is you, you've probably been replaying everything in your head, wondering how she moved on so fast. Maybe this feels familiar. You wake up every morning trying not to check her page, but curiosity wins. You tell yourself you're over it. But that ache in your chest doesn't agree. You see her with someone else and suddenly every memory hits harder. The way she used to look at you, the inside jokes, the quiet moments no one else will ever understand. And now she's with him, smiling like she used to smile at you, laughing like nothing ever broke her. And you start to question everything. Was any of it even real? Did she ever love you the way she said she did? Or were you just a temporary chapter in her story? You try to stay strong. You're in no contact. You're doing what everyone says is right. But when she's out there living her life, posting, dating, moving on, it feels like you're the only one who's still stuck in the past. And deep down, a part of you wonders if she ever stops to think about you the way you think about her. Maybe she does. Maybe late at night, when everything goes quiet and the noise fades away, she remembers the way you made her feel. Safe, seen, understood. Because rebounds can distract her mind, but they can't erase what her heart still remembers. So ask yourself this: what if her moving on isn't the end, but the beginning of her realizing what she truly lost? Most men panic the moment they see their ex with someone new. They spiral. They assume it's over, that she's forgotten them, that what they had meant nothing. And that's exactly where most guys lose their power, because they start reacting instead of observing. You see, when a woman moves on fast, it's rarely about genuine connection. It's about distraction. She's trying to prove to herself, and sometimes to you, that she's fine, that she's moved on. But real healing doesn't happen by replacing one person with another. It happens in silence. And that's something most men never give her the chance to feel. The truth is, you don't chase what's already running away. You don't argue with someone's decision to leave. You stand still, grounded, calm, because a man who knows his worth doesn't compete for attention. He lets time do the heavy lifting. The core masculine principle here is emotional self-control. It's understanding that your value doesn't vanish just because she's entertaining someone new. If you truly were a man of depth in her life, she will feel that void. Not when you reach out, not when you try to remind her, but when your silence forces her to compare what she has now with what she once had with you. The guy she's seeing might make her laugh, take her out, fill her feed with new memories, but eventually that energy fades. Because chemistry is easy. Connection is not. And if you were authentic, if you led with calm strength instead of emotional chaos, you're not replaceable. So while most men are losing sleep over what she's doing, you do the opposite. You get back to your purpose. You sharpen your focus. You rebuild yourself quietly, because when you stop chasing closure, that's when she feels your absence the loudest. And here's the paradox. The more you accept her distance, the more likely she'll be drawn back to the stability you represent. Most men react emotionally. Few respond with clarity. Be one of the few. Because when you understand that silence isn't weakness, it's strength, you stop needing her to come back, and that's when she finally starts to wonder why she ever left. It's late, the kind of night where everything is quiet except your thoughts. You're lying there in the dark, staring at the ceiling, and that image flashes again. Her with someone else. He's got his arm around her in a photo you didn't mean to see. She's smiling that same smile she once gave you, the one that used to make everything in your life feel right, even when it wasn't. And now, she's sharing it with him. You tell yourself you're fine, that it's just a picture, that she's free to do what she wants, but deep down something twists. It's not anger, not jealousy exactly. It's that hollow ache of being replaced by someone who doesn't know her the way you did. He doesn't know how she bites her lip when she's nervous. He doesn't know the way she goes silent when she's overthinking. He doesn't know that she pretends to be fine even when she's breaking inside. You do. You lived it. You saw behind the mask. You held her when she couldn't hold herself together. And now someone else gets her laughter, while you sit here wondering if she ever thinks about the quiet moments that used to belong only to you. Maybe she does. Maybe not when she's out smiling for the world, but when the night gets still and the noise fades away, there's that moment before she falls asleep, when she feels something she can't explain, something missing, something familiar. She turns over in bed, maybe with him next to her, but her mind drifts back to that night she sat beside you in the car. No music, no words, just the sound of rain on the windshield and your hand resting gently on hers. She remembers how calm she felt, how seen, and for a second her chest tightens. Then she shakes it off, pretending it's nothing. But you and I both know feelings like that don't vanish. They just go quiet. You see, she might be dating someone new, but her heart still recognizes what it once had. She can distract her mind, post new memories, keep herself busy, but the bond you shared isn't something she can just delete. It lingers in songs and familiar places, in the silence between her thoughts. And here's the truth she'll never say out loud. Every time you stay silent, every time you don't react, she feels it. Your absence has weight. It's not anger. It's not bitterness. It's presence without noise. The kind that makes her wonder if she misjudged the man she walked away from. So let her have her moment. Let her chase the distraction. Because one day, when the novelty fades and the quiet returns, she'll remember what peace felt like and realize it was you. Not because you chased her, not because you fought for her, but because you were strong enough to walk away and calm enough to let time remind her who you really were. And when that realization hits, when she finally feels the difference between temporary comfort and lasting connection, that's when she'll understand she's with someone new, but she never truly left you. A lot of men hold on to one painful belief after a breakup, that if she's dating someone new, it means she's over you, that she's replaced you, that what you had didn't mean as much as you thought it did. But that's not the truth. That's just the story your fear tells you when you're hurt and alone. Because when you see her with another guy, it hits your ego before it hits your heart. You start comparing, competing, assuming she's happier now. And that's where most men lose themselves. They forget that her new situation isn't proof of peace. It's proof of avoidance. You see, most people don't heal by facing their pain. They heal by running from it. She's not moved on. She's trying to. She's distracting herself with someone new, with attention, with noise. But that emptiness she feels when she's alone, that's not going away just because someone else is standing next to her. So here's the first truth. Her dating someone else doesn't mean you lost. It means she's not ready to sit with the silence that you're strong enough to face. Because silence is where the truth lives. And that's what most people can't handle after a breakup. The truth of who they are without distraction. You're in no contact. You're rebuilding. You're learning to stand still while your emotions try to pull you in every direction. That's not weakness. That's strength. That's discipline. That's what a grounded man looks like. And here's the second belief I want to challenge, that you need her back to feel whole again. You don't. You never did. You just lost sight of yourself while loving her. There's this line I want you to remember. She didn't ghost you. You disappeared from yourself. You stopped showing up for your purpose. You stopped showing up for your own energy. You poured everything into trying to be what she wanted, and now you're learning what it feels like to rebuild who you are. And it hurts, because real growth always does. It's the quiet kind of pain, the kind that doesn't come with closure or validation, but with the realization that you don't need either. The man who chases her in this moment loses twice, once when she left, and again when he abandons himself to get her back. But the man who stays calm, who trusts the silence, who accepts that she's making choices that have nothing to do with his value, that man always wins in the long run, because here's what usually happens months from now. When the excitement of her new situation fades, she'll feel that emptiness again, and she'll start remembering the difference between attention and connection. She'll realize the peace she felt around you wasn't accidental. It was your energy grounding hers. So no, she's not over you. She's just not ready to face herself yet. And that's not your problem anymore. Your only job now is to become the man who never doubts his worth again. The man who knows that being left doesn't mean he's lacking. Because when you stop chasing what walked away, you make space for what's meant to stay. So remember this, the moment you stop needing her to remember you is the moment she finally does. And when that day comes, when she realizes she traded depth for distraction, you won't even need to say a word. Your silence will say it all. Most men, when they see their ex with someone new react, they spiral into questions, comparisons, what ifs. They lose sleep, replay moments, and wonder how she could move on so easily. But the 3% man, he doesn't operate from reaction. He operates from understanding. This is what he understands. Her dating someone new isn't the end of the story. It's a part of her journey. He knows that when a woman moves on quickly, it doesn't mean she's healed. It means she's avoiding. It means she's trying to fill a space that used to be full of connection, comfort, and certainty. And he doesn't take that personally, because he's learned that her choices are not a reflection of his worth. Where the average man panics, the 3% man pauses. He doesn't chase. He doesn't beg. He simply observes, quietly, calmly, without judgment. Because he knows something powerful. Energy doesn't lie. And what was real between two people doesn't vanish. It just gets buried under emotion and distraction. This is how he leads with presence, not pressure. He doesn't try to convince her of anything. He doesn't rush to prove that he's changed. He lets his growth speak louder than his words ever could. His stillness is what she feels. His discipline is what she notices. His peace is what starts to draw her mind back to him, even when she's with someone else. The 3% man knows that love doesn't need to be forced to return. It just needs space to remember. He understands that the masculine isn't about control, it's about composure. He doesn't need constant reassurance that she misses him because his self-worth doesn't depend on her recognition. He's focused on something far more powerful, his center. When he feels pain, he doesn't run from it. He sits with it. He lets it shape him into a man who no longer reacts to emotion but responds to truth. He understands that the man who can stay calm in chaos owns the room, owns his presence, and eventually owns the outcome. This is the mindset shift. The average man believes love is something he needs to chase. The 3% man knows love is something that naturally gravitates towards strength, peace, and purpose. He doesn't need to manipulate anyone to come back. He simply becomes the kind of man who no longer needs them to. He's not waiting for her to return. He's preparing for whatever life brings next, because he knows that when you hold on to your masculine frame, when you stand tall in silence and certainty, you become magnetic. You stop trying to pull her back, and that's exactly when she starts to feel the pull. And here's what most men don't realize. It's not his words that she misses later, it's his energy. It's the peace she felt when she was around him. The safety she can't fake with someone new. The grounded confidence that told her without a single word, you're safe here. That's what the 3% man represents. A calm, steady force in a world full of noise. He doesn't fight for attention. He commands respect. He doesn't chase validation. He radiates value. And when she finally realizes what she lost, he won't be bitter. He'll just smile because he'll know that he became the man he was meant to be. Whether she ever comes back or not, there's a moment when it all just stops. The noise, the scrolling, the constant wondering about who she's with, what she's doing, whether she still thinks about you. It doesn't happen dramatically. There's no music, no grand epiphany. It's quiet. Maybe you're sitting alone one night, phone in hand, staring at her picture again. But this time, something feels different. You notice your own reflection in the black glass between swipes, and for the first time, you don't see the man who lost her. You see the man who lost himself. You realize how long you've been orbiting around someone else's choices, how long you've been measuring your peace against her silence, and there's this ache in your chest, not because you miss her, but because you finally understand how much of your energy you gave away trying to hold on to something that was already gone. You whisper to yourself, I'm tired, not tired of her. Tired of waiting for permission to feel whole again. Tired of believing that your worth depends on whether she remembers you. And that's the shift. That's where everything changes, because in that moment, something inside you softens. You stop replaying the story as she left me. You start to see it as I let myself love fully, and that's something to honor, not regret. You realize you've been mourning a version of her that doesn't even exist anymore, and you've been shrinking yourself to fit a memory. So you put the phone down. You breathe. You sit in that silence that used to scare you, and for the first time, it doesn't hurt. It feels peaceful. You start to remember what it feels like to be in your own presence, to not need a text or a call or a post to tell you that you matter. And it hits you. She may be dating someone new, but you're finally done competing for a love that already showed you what it needed to. You're done being the man who waits. You're becoming the man who leads himself because now you understand. Her story can continue without you, but your story doesn't pause because she's in someone else's arms. You can still grow, you can still heal, you can still become the man you were supposed to be long before she ever entered your life. And here's the quiet truth that anchors you now. You don't need her to think about you to feel seen. You don't need her to come back to feel chosen. You are the chooser now. You're choosing peace over pain, growth over nostalgia, yourself over the version of you that waited too long for someone else to validate his worth. You smile, not because you're over her, but because you're finally over the illusion that her love was the only thing that made you enough. And in that stillness, in that deep, grounded calm, you finally understand what real strength feels like. It's not the power to make her regret losing you. It's the quiet confidence of knowing you never really lost anything that was meant to stay. Because one day, when she's lying next to someone who feels almost right, she'll realize the piece she's missing was never in another man's arms. It was in the presence of the man who finally remembered his own worth.